Welcome to the channel. Today we're here to talk about faith and fitness. My name's Cole Foster, and I'm here with my buddy Cam Stillings. Cam is a youth pastor at North Point Church in Nixa, Missouri. So thanks for being
Yeah,
here, Cam.
absolutely. I'm excited. So
I love it. So we're going to go through some different questions with Cam today, and then we're going to get a little workout in.
yeah, we are.
So
Come on.
stay
Come
tuned.
on. I love it.
So just to kind of start out today, I think it'd be really good just to get a sense of your background, and ultimately, as young as you are, it's pretty impressive that you're already working as a pastor.
Oh.
And so, how did you become a pastor at such a young age?
The Lord's favor. So basically, right after I graduated high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do after high school. I remember I was sitting at like an MSU, like Missouri State University tour, and I'm like, this like sucks. I don't want to do this. I remember I'm taking my ACT, and I'm like, what is like, this just cannot be it. And I just had like no passion, no desire for like anything business. But I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so like I don't go straight into college. After I graduate, or I don't go first semester of college. But during that summer beforehand, though, I met a guy. His name was ER, and ER is over all of our facilities for all of our campuses. And I met him. And he was like, "Hey Cam, like, would you want to do this facilities job at the church at Nixa?" And I was like, "For sure." And so my job was straight up just move stuff from we were renting the Nixa campus, so it was like we're in a strip mall, moving the stuff from the strip mall and then to like the building we're actually building up now. And like that was my job. And then it was like there was that. And we did like a bunch of extra stuff too. Like I learned how to put like truss up, like to hold like the lights. I put up the like little like side screens on, like it was insane. Like I basically was trying to be a team player, being helpful, and so it was awesome. And so I did that. Obviously, like I got let go because like the building got finished, and so that was like October of I've been 23. Yeah. And no, that would be like July. But it would have got done around then. And so then after that, I was like, I got an offer to do kind of a similar thing at the Springfield campus, but from where I live in Nixa, it's like a 35-minute drive. And so I was like, hey, like I don't know if it's like really worth it or not, because like an hour. And so I was like, hey, ER, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna be like a free intern. Like I joke around saying I was like a full-time intern. Like I was just there all the time. And my parents were really awesome because they were like my parents were very like, Cam, like you cannot play video games the whole day. Like you got to go and do something, So like if I wasn't doing school, like I'd be working. And so they're like, hey Cam, like we're okay if you just go and basically like just like volunteer at the church for like 30 hours, 40 hours a week. And I was like, awesome, wow. Yeah. So like I really I learned so much in that time. And so then January of 24, our lead pastor was like, hey Cam, like would you like be interested in us like helping pay for your credentials, like for your schooling? And I was like, absolutely. And so then like I did that for like 6 months. And then in July, they made like a middle school role. And they're like, hey Cam, like we're making this role for our like Nick's campus in Springfield, and like we want to offer you this job. And I was like, for sure. And so so I've been doing that since like almost up my schooling now, but I've been doing since been with North Point since July of 24. So I think it's like a year and like 10 months now. So I almost come up on my 2 year. So but yeah, so and yeah, it's God's just been very kind. It has opened up a lot of doors for me, and I just try to follow him. Weave through him. Yeah.
Was that Pastor Jeremy that?
Yeah. He was like, hey Cam, yeah, because what we were trying to do is we were trying to get like the students budget raised so they could pay me, but it got shut down. And so that's why Jeremy was like, hey, like we can't raise the students budget, but we can pay for your schooling if you want. And I was like, that works too. So yeah, it's such a blessing. Yeah, love Pastor Jeremy.
And you're still in school, right?
Yeah, I'm like almost done. I got until October of 26. Yeah, then I'm done for as long as I want to be.
Not even a year.
Yeah, like almost done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what point did you feel like you were called into this role?
Yeah. So like for me, like there's a lot of people, whenever I talk with people who are like, man, I was at this camp and I got caught at this second. Like for me, that's not how it happened. It was more of like, I just kind of found, like I'm a big passions guy. So like I wrote a book one time, kind of like through our fellowship that was created, and basically there was like 2 things from the book and then one thing that I thought was super helpful of like, hey, like what am I called to? Like what is it? And like the first one was like, hey, like what are your gifts? Like what are some things where like you feel like you're gifted at it, like you're better naturally at some things other than other people. And then like wise counsel is also saying, hey, like you got a gift at this. Like what are your gifts? What are your passions? And like where's God opening up doors? And so like the main one is my passion of like, what am I passionate about? Like I'm not passionate about business stuff, but I'm very passionate about like seeing students come to Jesus or seeing people come to Jesus in general. And so I'm like, okay, like maybe like, so that's kind of like, it was more of like a passion. Like I more of a passion for it. Like I felt like I just love this idea of like, man, how can I help see people come to Jesus? And so it wasn't like a boom, like, Cameron called them. Like no, it wasn't really like that, but it was more of like just like with passions and like how like my gift settings and kind of how God is opening up doors. I was like, I think like this is it. And so, yeah, it's been going great.
Yeah,
So,
and I feel like you're a great person for the role too, especially because I remember I'll never forget the day I met you. Everyone said, "How old do you think this guy is?" And just the way you carry yourself, just the way that you can kind of lead and run a room is just amazing. And I think, did I guess that you were like 30 or something
yeah, I
like
don't know,
that?
maybe 27 or something. I don't know. I've gone
It
through it
was up
before.
there.
I mean, yeah, it was
It's
one
just
time.
wild.
Yeah. The beard helps. I always tell them the beard helps, all right?
Right, I love it. No, I think it's amazing. As far as your testimony,
Mhm.
obviously you didn't go from a non-believer to the role you're in now. So
Yeah.
kind of where did all this take off
Yeah,
for you?
yeah. So I very blessed. I grew up in a Christian household. So like even from the jump, like I remember like being a kid, like just making a bunch of old people mad, running with my head cut off. It was great. I loved it. And then like I got put into junior high. So like I went to public school my whole life, K through 12. And then but the elementary school that I was at was very like kind of sheltered in a way. Like it was public school, but very sheltered. And so then whenever I got to junior high, like my world just got like really opened up to me, and like there's
Hmm.
huge. And so like learned about a lot of things, fall into like a lot of things like addictions and stuff. And so like really like junior high just wrecked me. And so like that's why I love being a junior high pastor, is because I'm like, man, like this was a very influential time of my life whenever I was in junior high. And so basically from then until like high school, like I fall into like what we call in the church world like a lukewarm Christian, and like just like always like very like it was never really consistent, and it's so like one way that I've found it put it, it's almost like you have one foot in the water and one foot in the sand. Like you have one foot in Jesus, but then one foot in the world, and it's really odd because it's like, well, whenever I'm at this place, I can't really enjoy it because I'm still a Christian. But then it's like whenever I'm at a camp or
Mm,
something, I can't really enjoy it because I want to be at these spots with hanging out with these
yeah.
people doing these things. And so like it's always like this very weird thing. And so I remember I'm a junior high school and I make like a really dumb mistake. And I remember I'm driving back in, I think, and I was told like, hey Cam, like this is gonna be a thing that like makes you feel like a king. It's gonna satisfy you. This is it, bro. And I remember leaving and like I felt like I just fell like flat on my face. Like I didn't feel like a king. I felt
Mm,
like I just bit it like on some dirt. And so I remember like thinking of like, hey, like maybe like the pastors and people who are saying like only God can actually fulfill you are right. And so like I made a decision like that night of like, okay, like this lukewarm thing, like I can't, like I understand now, like it's not going, like if this doesn't fulfill me, nothing's going to. So it has to be God. And so then like from like really then until like junior year, probably senior year, like it was just a super like just trying to figure out this like real Christianity, being both feet in type of thing. And so like I would say like I really became like a legit like Christian who was like thriving in my faith like probably after I graduated, where that's where it was like my friend group changed. I got plugged into North Point, so like I got plugged into a local church, which was huge. Like my friend group was just like to the friend group like even that I have now, like they were just so
mhm.
such, like I tell our students all the time that like your friend group, like changing your friend group can change your life because it changed mine. And I'm such a believer in that. So like whenever I change like my friend group, whenever I change like being in a local church setting, like the community aspect, that's kind of when my faith kind of like started to thrive and like actually become like kind of owning it. Like it wasn't my mom's faith anymore; it was
It
Cam's
was
faith, and I'm
Cam's
just going
faith.
for it. Yeah.
You bet. I
So.
love what you said about the idea of change your friend group, you change your life. Because
Yeah.
I've always been a big believer that if you think about the five people you spend the most time
hmm
with,
Yeah.
you're almost a collection of
Yep.
all five of those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And so if you're wanting to go somewhere or be in a certain path, you're trying to fill yourself with people who are either there, they're in the process of going
Yeah.
there with you or something.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I agree. I
so
agree.
I think that's so wise. As we think about fitness, we think
Yeah.
about training and then faith, right? Obviously, faith is the pinnacle of all of
Yeah.
it, the most important thing. But do you feel God values fitness and training in general?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like there's that scripture talks about like our body's a temple, and I even think about like, I mean, like the dudes who had to travel so much, like they had to be in shape, like the Pauls, like the dudes who are literally like walking all the time, or like like they're on a donkey, like they had to be in shape to go where probably God wanted them to go,
It's
and so
true.
like I think it's true. Yeah, like our body's a temple, and so it's like I'm not like a big like, hey man, like we all need to be 9% body fat, and we all need to be under 200 pounds, and we all need like no, like I don't think it's like God wants us in like top frame shape, and that'd be cool. But I think it's more of like, hey, like just kind of keep a pulse on it. Like don't let it get so bad because like it's like our body's not ours. Like it's
Right.
God's. Like it's our temple. It's His temple, and so it's like we have to steward it well. And I think like that's what it says in Scripture. Like we have to steward our temple well. So yeah, I'd say like God's pretty big. Yeah, like fitness guy. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
that's my
I love
thoughts.
that. One of my training partners I've had in the past, I'll never forget this. This is kind of a core memory to me, something that like has stuck with me for a long time.
Mm,
But one of the most gifted lifters I've ever been
yeah.
around, and what he had said is for him it became what he considered an idol, and so
Mm,
he totally stepped
yeah.
away from it because of the idea of
Yeah.
it being
Yeah.
an
That's
idol. And
real.
so, at what point do you feel like it would maybe become an idol
Yeah,
or
I
become a
mean,
problem?
yeah, for me, like we talk about like anything that's in like anything like idolatry is anything that like basically takes place like it's more important than God. And so that can be like anything. That can be your job, that can be working out, that can be like a relationship other than God. Like, that can be so many things. And for me, it's like I have like a very and we'll probably talk about like have you heard of Atomic Habits before?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
like James Clear, but it's very like there's this thing. It's called habit stacking. It's basically where like you do all of your habits and like you stack them. So it's like for like 6 hours of my day, I have like the exact same routine. And so what can happen though for me is like how I could fall into idolatry with the gym is like instead of doing like certain like my time with God, I would go to the gym earlier. So like for me, like that would be
Mm,
my sign is like, okay, like when am I beginning to replace God time with gym time? Because then for me, like that would be a sign of Cam, like this is off. Like you shouldn't be replacing this with like, this. The God's thing is more important. So why are you
right.
going to the gym earlier if you're missing your God time? Like it wouldn't be. So I think like for me, like if I ever catch myself wanting to go to the gym, not wanting to go, but like I catch myself going to the gym in a time that's like blocked out for God, that's probably a sign of, hey Cam, like your gym is too high on your priority list right now, and it's probably becoming like an idol to you. Yeah.
So what do you think about the idea then, with that being said, of so say whatever for whatever reason, scheduled time management is always really hard for people.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there's a day that you normally plan on your God times at say 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, you could rearrange your day and you could do the gym at 6 a.m. instead, and you did your God time later in the day. Would that be a danger zone for you to switch that schedule up, or is it one of those things as long as you're making sure you keep that time that
Mm-hmm.
matters most?
Yeah, I think yeah, the second one. I think it's like if you make sure. So like for me, like there's a lot of people who say like Cam, like I like doing my God like my Devo time at night. For me, like my discipline at nighttime is like gone. Like when it comes like actually like I could totally see myself like man if I wanted to do my devotion right before going to bed, like I'd probably fall asleep. Like there's a chance that happens. So yeah, I think it's more of like just like your personal schedule. I don't think there's like a right way to do it. I think it's all just like personal to you and to what your day and your work looks like. So yeah, like if it was like, hey, I'm going to the gym at 6 a.m., but like I know for sure that I'm going to be disciplined at
And
9
make sure you
p.m.
get it
to do
done.
it,
Yeah.
my Devo time, then yeah, that's cool. But like if you catch yourself like starting to slack and missing your Devo time because you're tired or because your friends want to hang out or because your family wants to do something, then that's when I'd probably start to change. Yeah, because like yeah, I'd rather have my like God. Like, it'd be poor. It'd be unwise of me to miss my God time to go to the gym. But then whenever it's time for God, then I like snooze fest. Like,
Right, for
so
sure.
so yeah, it's all. I think it's all just like like. But then like if you're a night owl, yeah, like I know people. I know like my friends, like evangelist friends who do their stuff at nighttime because they're night owls. And so I'm like, hey, more power to you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd probably be more me. So, what about the idea of how much time you're devoting to each?
Mm-hmm.
How much, I mean, is it one of those things that, I'm going to the gym for an hour, but my devotion's 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's healthy, or do you think the devotion should be longer than the gym? Because you could really, you could replace gym with anything in life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, what would be maybe a good way to balance that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a pretty big believer that like where you spend your time shows where your priorities are at.
Absolutely.
So like, we were even talking about like books. So like last year, like I read a lot of books. What I realized is that I was spending more time reading like leadership books or like other
Mm,
books by Christian authors more than I was in the Word. And I felt like convicted of it because I was like, okay, Cam, like this is like, why am I reading some leadership book about some business thing that could help me and my job for sure? But I'm replacing that over God time. So it was like I'd spend like hours in like leadership books and stuff, and only 30 minutes in the Bible. And I remember
right.
feeling so convicted because I was like, what does it say about my priorities? Like, is this saying, man, God, I want to be a better leader than spending time with you? Like, that's like that even hurts saying that. And so
Right.
like this year, it's like I like cut my reading like going like more than half because I'm like it's just not worth it. Like I'd rather spend more time in the Bible than reading leadership books. And so I think it's the same way with like the gym. Is like for me, it's like that's why it'd be a red flag for me personally if I'm realizing, man, I'm spending an hour in the gym, but then only 15 minutes on a Devo. Because then it shows,
Right.
because what your priorities, like how you spend your time shows where your priorities lay. And so like for me, that'd be a red flag for me of like, okay, why am I only spending 15? Like for me, it's because like then for me, it sounds like, hey God, like now I'd rather spend time working on my body and being in shape than like spend like devotional time one-on-one with you. So,
Right.
but again, like I also believe that like it'd be different. Like it'd be different if like maybe it's like, hey, like you and your Bible study team is all going to the gym and like you're gonna do like your Bible study there, but then all work out together. Like I feel like that's different because like then you have like the community aspect, like you have that
Right. The
fellowship, you
fellowship
have all
side
of
of it.
that.
You got
But
it.
if it's like, hey, like I'm just going to the gym for like with myself, like just because I want to get it in and because it's more like it's just more of a priority than the God time is, that's probably a red flag for me. Where I'm like, like I don't know if that's great time management just because like yeah, cause I just think that God should be a number one thing. And so I'm like, if you spend more time with working out than you do God, I'm like But then I don't know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a tough question. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
don't know.
something I struggle with it at times, I think, as well, because like for me, a lot of the time I'm planning my day around when my workout schedule is going
Hmm.
to be,
Yeah,
right? So I always say it's like brushing your teeth. Like to be consistent with working out, like if I'm going to brush my teeth today, it's not a question of if, but when.
yeah,
And I really think, honestly, the devotion side of things should be similar to that, and the workout side of that should be as well, where it's like you're planning your day around,
hmm,
okay, when are you going to do your devotion?
yeah,
When are you working out? When are you going to do, family time if that's a
yeah,
big
yeah,
factor? And then how do you fit that into your job as well,
hmm,
right? Because the common thing I get is, well, how do you have time to do all those things? Because I've got a lot on my plate
yeah,
currently,
yeah. You do,
but
yeah,
at the same time it's like it's all about time management.
yeah,
And so somebody that I really follow and enjoy, they always talk about the idea of, you think forward, what do you have going on maybe that day or during the week, and then you plan backwards.
hmm,
I know I've got these 12 things I've got to do in the next 5 days, so how do I plan backwards to make the most efficient use of my time?
hmm,
The downside is for me is I feel like you get good at that, and I fill up my life with so much that sometimes things like my devotions and everything in life starts to overtake
yeah,
what
yeah,
should be priority.
hmm,
But I think a lot of it may come down to discipline. And I'll never forget, I asked my wife, it was a couple months ago. I had saw some random thing on social
yeah,
media, and it was saying, ask your spouse, what is your best trait?
hmm,
And so I ask her, and she responds one word and says discipline.
yeah.
And I'm like, this is the most discouraging thing that I could have got back. Because like of all the things that I want to be my trait, why discipline?
Hmm.
And it was interesting, especially with all the stuff going on in my heart. She's like, no matter how you feel, no matter what life is like, you always show
You just
up.
gotta
You
do it.
never miss the
Yeah,
workout. You
yep.
do the workout if you're miserable. You do all these things if you're miserable. And it's true. But even just listening to you talk, I think at the same time, there's definitely things that I've missed and
Hmm.
not been disciplined with. I mean, I don't know that you can be disciplined with everything. So I guess I say all that to kind of lead into the next question I have for you is there carryover between discipline of working out and discipline of your spiritual life? And if so, what does that interplay
Oh
look like?
yeah, well I mean like I mean making in trouble here, but like I don't always wake up super excited to spend time with God. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, bro, I just want to sleep. And so I got to use that discipline to get up. I talked to I was with some of our fellowship leaders last week, like big leaders, and I asked one of them. We were kind of talking about like God time and like devotional time, and he's like, Cam, he goes, there's some times when I just show up to be faithful.
Ooh,
Like
that's
like, like,
big.
like I may not feel God's like presence super powerfully, or I may not really get like a big whoa from the word, but like I'm just trying to be faithful. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, like I like that. Like that makes sense. Like I'm just trying to be faithful. So there'll be times whenever I wake up and I'm like, man, like it's me and God time, let's go. And there'll be times where I'm like, bro, I want to sleep, man. Like I want to go, I don't want to wake up yet. And so yeah, like and that's the same discipline that gets me like to the gym. So like the way like cause I basically I'm time blocking from when I wake up to like 10 a.m. So all of that is basically my time. And so, like I don't like really do like it's very selfish, all on me. So like that's why I do my workouts, that's my God time, like, it's everything. And so like for me, it's like if I know if I miss my prayer time or my God time, there's a good chance I miss my workout time as well
Mm,
because like that's how it is. And so like, but I know, man, if I like if I'm waking up for my God time, there's like a really, really solid chance I'm going to the gym today. But it's the exact same discipline to like still show up. I mean, it's like the idea of like if you're trying to get into working out, like if you just show up, it's a win. Same thing with like your Devo time. Like you may not learn a lot, you may not feel God's presence, but if you show up, it's a win because you're being faithful, as the one guy said. So yeah, so there's a
I love that.
lot of similarity. Like yeah, I mean like this like I don't think there's a difference between discipline and getting up and doing your devos and being in your word and spending time with God. Like it's the same discipline to get up and go to the gym as well. So yeah.
For sure. So with that, you made a comment and kind of made me think of this question. So especially for young believers, and honestly, I would even lump myself into this in some regard. How often at this point do you feel in your spiritual walk, do you feel like sometimes you read the Bible and you're reading it and you're like not necessarily not taking much from it, or it just feels like you're reading a bunch of stuff that you're like, I don't understand any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're at a point that still happens ever, or do you think at this point that you're in, like you're reading it in a different way than you maybe did early on, where now it's just so focused on preparation and preparing to kind of teach and stuff like that?
Yeah. So like for me right now, currently, so like as I mentioned, like the whole like I was talking like one of my like he's one of his name's John Martz, one of our pastors. He's our executive pastor, and also we're talking like we're both really big in like communicating and preaching and like trying to be better preachers. And so I was like, hey, like what's some like we're just talking feedback. He's like, Cam, one thing for you, I think, is like you just need to know the word better. Like not like as a diss, but it's like, hey, like you're at a point where like your communicating is really good, but like what will separate you from a lot of people as a preacher is like just knowing his word. So like for me currently,
Yeah.
like literally, I'm not even joking. My prayer, when like before I start, I'm like God. Like my prayer is not God speak to me in some crazy way. My prayer currently is God, let me understand your word. Like let me actually understand what you're meaning and what the context is and what this person's saying. And so like I'm also a big like I have a commentary put up with me though, because it'll be just like something where I'm like this makes literally no sense. And so like I'm like look, where like some commentator makes it more simple, and I'm like oh okay that gets good. So like, but like, yeah, like there's times where like if I don't have that with me, where I'm like, I have no idea what's going on here. Like this makes no sense.
Right.
There's times where I pray and I just like I feel like it's music. It's just me, myself, and I currently. Like I feel like God's not even near me, but like I know that He is. And, like that's the whole faithful part. There's times when like I want God to speak to me through His word and nothing happens. But like if I'm faithful, it's a win. Like if I show up, it's a win. And I think God honors obedience of like I think God honors, hey, like Cam's like try like he wants to talk to me.
I love
And I
that.
think that he honors that. Like I think he'll honor whenever you wake up early and you spend time with him. I think he's gonna honor when you may not understand what's going on, but you look it up anyways to get the context of it to actually understand. So yeah, there's still times like yeah, I mean like there's so many times where I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And the brother needs some help. So for sure.
Yeah, and I think especially for new believers and young believers, it happens almost sometimes more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
Where I can speak for myself, like back in the day, like you'd read stuff and you're like, what the heck? And the beauty of it is you read it 5 times
Mm-hmm.
and you take something different from it each
Yeah.
5 times.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just think the power in that is wild. But
Yeah.
I love what you said about the idea of, if I show up, it's a win.
Yeah.
Because I would say the same thing in the fitness realm
Yeah.
and training
Exactly.
realm, is showing up is
Show
the
up, it's a
hardest
win.
part.
Mhm.
And I think for me, at least with devotion, showing up is the hardest part, because once
Yep.
you get there, it's just a matter of taking the time
Yep.
and doing it,
Yeah.
and often it gets better as you go further. So I love that. You kind of answered this already, but what is your biggest daily habit
Mm.
or your most important? I mean, and it could be one, it could be a couple, but just kind of want to get a general sense of
Yeah.
what that looks like for
Yeah.
you.
For me, it's just prayer. Like I try to spend like a good chunk of like my morning in prayer, like and it's so different, and like this is so different from everyone. Like there's days like I have a prayer list, so there's days where I'm reading that. There's days when the whole time like I just need help. I'm like God, here's what's on my heart. Like here's a burden. Like that's like I'm like lamenting to Him. There's days when I just spend the whole time like I'm just thankful, and it's not like oh I'm gonna get up tomorrow and I'm gonna be thankful all day. Like it's literally like I get there and I'm like, what's on my heart? How am I feeling? And let's go. But like that prayer time is just like the you one-on-one time with God, where literally no one can see you, and it's just you and Him. And it's like I'm not distracted. Like it's early enough to where like no one's blowing my phone up, and so like I'm not distracted. Like it's just me and Him, and like I just love it, and it gets my day. Like it's like yeah, like it's kind of gets my day going. Like it's like that's probably like the number one thing is like just prayer time with God. So yeah.
And when you're thinking prayer time, are you thinking like you're on your knees praying, you're just generally praying in general, eyes closed, head down? Are you thinking of more of prayer in that regard, in the sense of you may be up moving around doing things, but you're being mindful and
Hmm.
having that active conversation despite what you're doing? Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
yeah,
Like, is it fully
yep,
devoted, or could it be a series of, look
yeah.
at a series
I
of
think
ways?
it's personal. I think it's on you. I think it's up to you. Like there's days when I'm like on my face, and then there's days where I'm walking around. There's days when I'm sitting on my couch. I think it's just totally and like I don't want to be legalistic about it either. So it's like now there is power in like physically humbling yourself before God.
Absolutely,
I do believe in that.
absolutely.
Um, but I don't think like God's like, oh nope, you're not on your knees, so like bye bye. Like no, that's dumb. Like I don't think he wouldn't do that. I don't believe that he would act that way if Jesus was here with you. So like I mean I guess like he is, but yeah. So like I think it like, depends on the day. It depends on like maybe like it depends probably like what's going on in your life as well. Like if you're burdened, like I wouldn't be like I wouldn't like if something bad would happen in my life, I wouldn't be surprised if like I fall on my face. Like I'm just like on my face before God because that's like the weight of it, you know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, like I think like it just depends on like for me, like I wish I could always be like, man, every single morning I'm on my knees, but not every morning. Like there's mornings where I'm like just trying to stay awake, like
Right.
where I have to keep my eyes open. If I shut them, I'll pass out. So yeah, yeah. And even like with that, there's days when like I'm so tired that I have to walk around. Like I have to walk around in my basement
Just keep
because
yourself
just keep
going.
myself up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I love that. I kind of love your response to that too, because once again, I think a lot of newer believers, we get this stereotypical thought in our mind of, oh, this is what Christians pray like, this is what Christians look
mm,
like, and we're so focused on looking like a Christian
mm-hmm,
early on versus actually being a Christian, and doing the little things and being mindful of God. Because the legalism side that
mm-hmm,
I mean, it does in some institutions. I feel like that I've seen throughout my life, the legalism matters more than the relationship, and that's one thing I like about North Point, is I feel like North Point really stresses the idea of the relationship matters much more than the legalism. And for me, that's profound, because not only is it profound in the way that you live your life, but I think that's the only way that you take things from inside the church out,
mm,
right? um, Josh from our small group on Tuesdays, one thing he
yeah,
recently told me was something along the lines of, we got to be careful that the American church doesn't become a cruise ship
mm,
where everyone's there for the experience and they're not there for the life change and the true relationship. And I know I can be guilty of that at times as well. So I love that, because ultimately, for anybody watching it, I would personally argue a big thing with prayer is, don't feel like you got to pray a certain way. The number
mm-hmm,
one thing is
yeah,
you're spending time with
yep,
God and
yep,
devoting your thoughts and your heart to Him.
yeah,
So I totally love that. Um, and then to go on to fitness a little bit,
yeah,
so you've gotten more and more into
yeah,
fitness, and so I have that video I plan on posting at some
yeah,
point
yeah,
about your hip,
yeah.
but we'll get to that later. What are your overall fitness goals?
For me, like I'm always trying to. So like again, like these are just goals. Like I'm just like, hey, like if I can do this, this would be awesome. So like I try to stay around somewhere between like 10% body fat. So like I'm always trying like anywhere from like 11 to 9. That's my goal. Sometime in my life I want to do a high rocks. Do you know what a high rocks is?
I'm supposed to do a
Oh,
doubles in the fall,
for real, that's insane. Okay.
so we should
Yeah,
sign up for one as well. I
we
got to
should do
get
one.
rolling
We
on it.
should do one. Holy cow! Yeah, I want to do one of those. Like I always just like again like I always just want to be disciplined. Like I always like my goal is to always like even when I don't feel like getting up and doing it, like I do anyways.
You bet.
Like that's one of my goals. Like that's like a lifelong goal. So like so yeah, that's just like I always want to eat like on the like I want to be like intentional with my food. Like I want to I track a lot of my food. So like it's like I want to always be on like consistently on the healthy side. Now like do I eat a pizza once a week? I mean, like, nah, like there's usually like one meal where I'm like, this is just horrible. But like, so I'm not like insane, but like, I don't want to always be like, I don't want to eat pizza every
Right.
day. So like being like consistent with my food options, not being like a stud because I'm like, I want to have like, I like pizza. Like I want to have some fun with my life. Oh, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like eating like on like the healthy side and like knowing how like what's in what, knowing how much can like this affects my body or whatever. So what's like another I guess like a lifelong goal as well.
Yeah,
So
and I noticed you asked me earlier about the macros, And that's
Yeah.
something that actually took me by surprise a little bit because most people don't talk about macros. So you're
Mhm.
not counting calories, you're counting macros. Do
Well,
you actually
yeah.
keep track of it, or you just kind of get a general sense
Yeah.
of what it
No,
is?
I got an app that like talks about like I like plug in my stuff. So yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love doing that. My problem with that though
Mhm.
is, as my wife calls it, my too much gene. I'm obsessively doing everything to the gram,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it becomes a little too much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
So it
Yeah.
makes it hard to eat. But the beauty of that is if you're tracking macros and the flexible dieting,
Hmm.
there's lots of research on that. You can do so much with it and still enjoy life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can get your nerd clusters in for a good
There you go.
workout.
No, come on, somebody. Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
So you work with youth.
Hmm.
What do you think is a great way, whether it's fitness and getting to the gym, whether it's your spiritual life,
Yeah.
intimidation does play a big role.
Hmm.
So how do you feel like you work through that with the youth?
Yeah. I mean, like, as in, like, how can they kind of get like
Yeah, like
more?
how do you get them past that to
Yeah.
either, get in
Yeah.
church, get connected, get
Yeah.
into the gym and not
Yep.
feel like everyone's watching and
Yeah. Yeah. I think like I mean, like, just show up. Kind of we're talking about, like, just show up. There's this idea, like, getting 1% better each day. So like that's when, like, I know, like, if I go to the gym and I get 1% better, it was worth my time. Same thing with like right now in my life where I'm trying to learn more about the Bible, like where I'm really going in depth or something. It's like, man, if I spend, like, if I get 1% better, if I learn 1% more from being in Scripture, it was worth it. So I think, like, just 1% better each day, make it easy. Like, I even tell our students, like, when it comes to Bible reading, I'm like, don't go, 5 chapters a day. Like, man, like, go like one, like, max two.
right.
Like, keep it small, keep it
And
easy, keep it
fully get
simple,
into
and
that
like
one.
fully get into the one. Yeah. So like, I think just keeping it small. I think it can be scary of like, man, like, where I'm gonna go in and read 5 chapters off and like try to understand it, or I'm gonna go in and expect to squat 315 when I haven't squatted for like 3 years and expect to get it, like, be back in a month. Like, that's not
Right.
realistic. And so it's like starting to like making it easy, making it small. And then I'm a big accountability guy too. Of how I got into CrossFit was there was like one of our pastors was going, and so it was like he'd be on my head, hey Cam, like, you coming in the morning, or like stuff like that, or like if we miss, like, hey, like no, like, hey, like, just like, where were you, man? Like, oh man, like, I slept in or whatever. But like that the accounting, like, aspect of it, yeah. And then, like, man, if I just show up and get 1% better, it's worth my time. But then making it easy, because it's like, if you don't make it easy, you'll probably quit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what James Clear says, because he's like, hey, like, if my goal is I want to do all like if okay example, so like I guess another one of my goals, when we talk about this, is running. So like I want to be a dude where like I can, whenever I want to, run like just like run a 5K. And I'm not saying no like 15-minute 5K. Like, I'm not trying to be a stud, but like that's
Come
just
on, man.
I'm sorry, but just that I can do it. And so like I'm not trying to be on your level, but I'm just trying to be on a level where it's like I can just do it whenever I want to. And so like whenever I've started this process, and I didn't start running off a 5K. That's hard.
Right.
But what I do start off is like a mile, then a mile and a half, and then kind of like working my way up. So I didn't just start bang. I started small and easy,
Right.
and then as long as the more and more I do it, the more easier it will be to actually do like the 3.1, 3.2,
3.1.
3.1, yeah, miles. So
Yeah, and I'm no 15-minute 5K.
okay, I don't know.
I would honestly argue though, a 5K to me feels as bad or worse than a half marathon.
Okay, yeah.
Just because you're full throttle the whole time,
Yeah.
and you're miserable the whole time.
It just sucks. Yeah.
It's awful. I don't even train to run that fast anymore. I am under 20, which I feel like for my age is pretty solid, but I have no intentions of ever trying to do that. Days are long gone.
Yeah.
So you spend a lot of time in the school system as well, right?
Yeah.
So then groups of kids. What are your thoughts on finding leaders in that for the accountability side of it? So I think of things like a sports team, right? Growing up playing basketball, for instance, like I would have been one of the leaders where it's like, all right, we got to get everyone to the gym, or we're pushing everybody for workouts. And so not necessarily coming from the coach, who in that case I would consider you, but from other peers.
Yeah.
And like ones that are good stewards and that they'll actually bring people versus the ones who aren't good stewards of kind of their abilities and where they're at. Is that something you ever use, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a huge believer, and that's like the same thing. It's like I know, like, I'm thinking of a kid right now that's like, he's like, brought, this is so cool. I preached on something for a friend group one time. And so then I think I talked on like something that involved your friend group. And so like right after, like I'm off the stage, like I see that like this kid makes a group chat with some of it. He tosses me in it, but makes a group chat with, like 4 of his friends. Hey guys, like let's do this, this, and this, and this, and it's with his friends. And so I'm like, wow, like this kid's a star. Like that's cool. But it's like that idea of like you can be like just kind of get your friends in, and it's a whole lot easier to do stuff with friends. Like I
Oh
think
my
it is,
gosh.
like,
Oh yeah.
especially running. Like I bet it's a whole lot more
Especially a
fun.
long run. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're like being like, I would way prefer if I'm running like something stupid, like an hour or something, like to have a friend with me than just like an hour of me and my thoughts, and
For
like.
sure. Although I would argue too that could also be some God time.
It could be.
So
I do
which
agree.
we're going to get there in a
I
little
do
bit,
agree.
but I do think the God time
Yeah.
and that personal time
Yep.
that you talk about could
Yeah,
be
that
part
could
of
be.
that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I agree. I think you could for sure. Like, yeah, no, I agree. Like, if it's like, hey, I know I'm gonna go on a run. Like, I'm not gonna play it. Like, I'm just gonna spend my run time thinking about like God's like that 100%. Like, I had a guy text me yesterday, one of our leaders. He was like, hey man, he was like, I went on like a 2 mile walk with my dog talking with God. I love it. Like, that's amazing. Like, I would count that. So, and again, like, it's like trying to stay away from like the legalists. They're gonna be on my knees 24/7. It's like, no, like,
Right.
you can do. I mean, it could be your car ride. It could be
It can happen anywhere.
literally
And
anywhere.
look
Yeah,
any
like
way.
yeah. So
Do you think that there is risk of, so I only ask this because this is something I could see myself potentially being guilty of. The idea of time management, stacking things together, if it's all it ever looks like is you go on a run and you pray, would that be a problem long term? I mean, maybe not in the short term, because the only reason I ask is like the idea of, are you fully devoted your time to and your thoughts to God? No, because you're technically doing something else too. So I personally would think like you would want some balance, right? Too much of anything generally is bad, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
yeah,
It's a tough one,
yeah.
probably.
Long term. Here's why. I just think like um, here's a thought: is God, I want to spend time with you, but I'm only going to do it when I'm running because I don't want to spend time with you elsewise.
Oof.
Like God,
That's
I
deep.
don't want to make time just for you, but I can't add you into something that I'm doing. Like I was like long term,
Yeah.
I'd probably stay away from that because like I want it to be God, you're my number one priority, and then like I'll take whatever with me. Not hey, I need to get a running, but while I'm running though, I can pray because like I have an hour to kill. So
Right.
so like making it more so like long term, yeah, long term I'm probably like but
Yeah, maybe it's maybe it's part of the heart behind it then. I mean, because like phrasing it that way makes a big difference. And that's something I hadn't even thought of, because at the same time, I mean, I feel like I could phrase it in the sense of like, I'm in nature, I'm completely by myself. I feel like I'm closer in that setting, away from everything, and so that would totally change.
Yeah, like that. Where you're like, hey, like, I feel closer with doing X, Y, and Z. Love it, big fan. But yeah, I think like I feel like for most of our conversation that we've been having, most of it's probably a heart posture and your heart motive.
Absolutely.
Of like, so like that's what I'm saying is like I don't think there's a one way answers all for everything that we're talking about because it's like it really is just dependent on you and your relationship with God. So it's like everything is really up to you. I can never be like, Cole, you should be doing X, Y, and Z at this time because I may not like that's not for you. Like, that may be for me, but I can't expect my relationship with God the way I do it to work as for you. Like that's
right.
like unwise.
So the number one question then for anyone that may be watching this, or just in general, would be, where's your heart?
Yeah. Where's your heart?
Where's your heart? Where's the heart focused?
Yeah.
And that really answers most of the questions of how things look. Because would you say in general, if your heart's in the right spot, externally you're gonna be
if I'm definitely I gotta honor that,
Yeah, the legalism side, as we talked about earlier, that always gets me because especially sometimes I think you're in certain communities and they're judging you based on how much do you serve in the capacity like that we can visually see.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, it's what I struggle with too in that regard is the idea of, I'm serving in little ways every day. I'm not looking for credit in any which way, but in the big scheme of what I'm going to write down on this piece of paper to tell you I'm serving, I feel like even if I had something big or did something big and I'm writing it down and I'm getting credit for it, to me, it takes away from what I actually did. And so, I think the heart of it is a big factor. And I think that is something that is commonly overlooked, but I love it because it's just something that I've thought of a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like we don't talk about too much. So as we kind of put all of this together, I mean, the number one thing, as we said, is faith. Fitness is big as well. Like you said, the body's a temple.
Yeah.
We both is ideal. What are practical ways to combine all that together?
Yeah. Man, I know of people like Yeah, I mean, like anyway, like I mean, I know of people who are like, hey, like imagine if like we're in a small group together. Like imagine if our small group went on a run. Like that's both. Like that's our fellowship. Like that's us physically getting stronger as well. Like I know of people who are like at like the gym that I go to. I know like there's a group like at 10 a.m. where it's like a bunch of like pastors and Christians who get together and do CrossFit together. Love that. Like that's combining both of them. So it's like when can you invite like your fellowship? When can you invite like like maybe yeah, like I think it's just like you can combine your fitness and your faith by like inviting people with you and in you. Like that's like the number one way that I think is like I can do this by inviting people with me. We're all Christians and we're gonna spend time either like and it may be like, hey, let's all just be quiet and just spend time with God as we all run together. Maybe it's, hey, like, let's talk about our problems like, while we
Ooh.
run together. Like
Some of the
yeah,
best combos I've ever had have been with running
there you
people.
go. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I think like bringing people with you, like Christians and stuff. I think like that'd be a dope way to do that. Combine
Yeah.
both of them that way. So
And the cool thing generally about fitness, you can't say this about everybody, but running, I feel like you generally can, is when you're running, the phone goes away.
yeah,
Electronic
yeah.
goes away, assuming there's no drone footage coming in.
Right. Come on, come on.
Um, but in the same with the gym, right? Like I'm not on my phone if I'm lifting weights. The only
Mm-hmm.
time I'm on my phone is if I'm maybe clicking and I did 8 reps on this
Yeah,
set, or I
yeah,
did five
yeah.
on this set, or something like that. So it goes away. And I feel like in the world we live in, where it's like me and you are in the same room, we're looking at our
Mm-hmm.
phone. With fitness, a lot of times that goes away,
Yeah.
and we just
Your side
get
of the eyeball.
the
Yeah.
way it was kind of made to do. And so I love the idea of talking about big things, problems, maybe even the good things, the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
celebrations,
Yeah. Yeah.
all,
Yep. Yep.
all ends of the spectrum, and having that conversation. And I think it's also cool too, because sometimes fitness can bring people into a group that don't have faith,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
faith could bring people into the
That's
group that
good.
don't have fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it could go either way. Um, but I said earlier, the idea of too much of anything is bad. That kind of goes everything but Jesus.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I got. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, I love this. I've loved this conversation as a whole. So thankful that you were able to come. We were able to do this. We've been
Absolutely.
talking about it for a
I
minute,
know. Come
so
on.
it's
Excited.
awesome to
Yeah.
see it finally
Yeah.
come
This was
through.
awesome. Yeah.
Any final thoughts that you have, just based on anything we talked about today?
Not really. Just show up. Yeah.
Just
If you
show
show
up.
up, it's a win.
That's kind of been
If it's
my
gym or if it's God time. Yeah.
absolutely, and that's kind of been my theme of recent posts as well. Is
Yeah.
showing up. It really is the hardest
Yep.
part.
Yep.
Show up, check your heart, make sure it's in the
Yeah.
right place.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, I appreciate you. We're
Absolutely.
gonna do this again. Thank you
Absolutely.
everybody for watching. We'll see you
Yeah.
next time.